Oh, I think it took me a little bit this morning. I'm sorry if you were waiting on me. I am here. I just had a little bit of a slip up there, but good. I just want to check my phone, so give me 1 second here and make sure I'm connected there. Um, all right, guys, it says I'm live. Good morning, good morning. Welcome to episode 413 of Coffee and Create with Brenda. I am Brenda Hillard. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who loves the paper craft. I love using other products too, but I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So if there's anything I can help you with regarding Stampin' Up!, please reach out to me. Good morning, Ginger. Happy deer hunting weekend. And for a lot of us that don't deer hunt, it means happy casting season, right? So anyway, all right. What do I have? My new host code for November is posted up above. Please use that when ordering. And let's get started with our holiday crafting. I'm going to switch down, and here we are. All right. So, things. The products I'm going to be using today are, this one is new in the um, September through December mini catalog. And this one is in the annual catalog and carried over from last year. And I feel like I didn't get to use this as much as I wanted last year. So here we are. I'm going to use it today. I feel like it is like go time. If you're going to make um, holiday stuff, stocking stuffers, or hostess gifts, neighbor gifts, all of that. Now is the time to get going on it because it just feels like these weeks leading up to Christmas or the holidays, they just race by. So it was like, well, I wanted to make this, and this, and I never got it done. So start now, and then you'll be ready when the holidays begin. All right, so for today's card, here's what we've got. I have a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 basic white cardstock. I know you're shocked, right? No basic beige today. Good morning, Mary Manlick. Um, anyway, so I've got this scored at 4 1/4. And one thing I heard out recently at one of the events I was at is, you know how you always kind of wonder, it's like, am I supposed to fold toward the crease, away from the crease? They had this little saying that was like, bury the bump, meaning the side that's raised, you bury the bump and then use a bone folder and for your card base. And then you get this really nice edge. You don't have um, all of like the little, I call them like paper and spray or little furries. So bury the bump. All right. Then I have a piece of basic white, and this measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then I just went through and grabbed a whole bunch of the greens and cut them into 1/2 inch strips. So I have Lost Lagoon, 1/2 inch. Don't worry about the length of it. Um, don't worry about the length of it as we'll be trimming that off, but it does have to at least be um, 4 1/4, or make it 4.5 wide by 1/2 inch. So I have Lost Lagoon. I have Pretty Peacock. I've got Shaded Spruce, Garden Green, and Old Olive. Okay. And these are all just 1/2 inch strips. And you can see they vary in length. But like I said, just make sure that they're 4.5 inches long. All right. And then I have a little scrap of gold foil. 1, I think that's it. That is it. All right. So is what we're going to do first is I'm going to bring in my mini stamp and stamp cut and emboss, and I want to first of all take my 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'm going to lay that on here, and I'm going to put. Let me tell you about this. So the Marius trees, the dies. Look at all of the options for trees. There's a really large tree, there's a medium size, and then there's a small. This can also be used for a tree topper. And you can make some really beautiful three-dimensional trees, ornaments, gift bags, all of the above. But I chose the smallest tree, and I'm just going to center it in here. And it's how I'm going to figure out where I want to die cut this is here's the sentiment I'm going to be using from that same set. And it says, hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season. And I just want to make sure that I have enough room for that and then to die cut my trees. All right. So being I have that where I want it, I'm going to use some of this wall safe Scotch tape. It's just a low tack tape. And I want to just put that on there to hold it in place. Now remember when you're using your minis, you want to stagger the plates. You do not want them even. Staggering meaning all different edges. I'm going to put it in and run it through. That's all we need right now for that. And here's our piece. I'm going to lift this off and gently lift up my low tack tape. I don't want to rip my paper. You can save this little piece and use it for something else if you want. I'm not going to be using it on this part, of course, but all right. So now we have our tree, and what I'm going to do is bring in my faded spruce ink. I'm going to ink up that sentiment that we just lined up at the bottom. Remember when you're inking to go all around on your stamp pad. And that's how I want that to look. So I have this little peekaboo window. Good morning, Cheryl. I am happy you are here. All right. So next, I want to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and see what I have here. I have bits and pieces, and I want to really be able to secure this. So I'm going to be using a lot of dimensionals on this one. And what it does is it just helps keep it nice and solid on our card, and you'll see why here in just a minute. Be sure to put enough in around the opening of the tree to hold that in place. One more down here, and maybe one over here. So lots of dimensionals, right? I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to bring in our card base. I'm going to put this in the center of my card, like so. Just making sure that these borders are fairly even. I'm going to take a pencil, and I have it upside down, but I just want to mark the very tip of the tree and the very tip on the bottom, okay? And what that's going to do when we take these strips, it's going to allow us to, we'll know where we're going with our strips. so that we cover that entire opening on the tree. I've got my silicone mat, and I'm just going to add adhesive. And in order to get this straight, I'm going to use the grid on my glass mat. And you guys know that the glass mats are available for purchase. And I'm just going to make sure that I have the very top of the tree. Another way to do this if you don't have the glass mat is you can do your T-square ruler and just put that down. And now that I've got that on there as straight as I can, I'm just going to start adding some more strips. And I'm just butting it right up to the top. I don't want any white showing through. Take an old olive and butt that up. Let's do a shaded spruce. And I'm just going to repeat this process until we get all the way down to this one. So I've used all of my colors. So now I'm just going to take I didn't use the garden green. We'll put that on there. We'll see how close we are to the bottom line. And we've covered that bottom mark. So we're good. I'm going to open up my card base. And what I want to do is just take my snip and I want to trim off the edges. Okay. And then we have to do that on the fold side as well. I just think it's easier to make the strips a little bit longer and then trim them because then you aren't having like miscuts and then you have that little bit of white showing on the edges of your card. Who else have on? Good morning, Kim. All right. So there's our card. That's what it looks like. All right. Let's next take off all of our little dimensionals. It's kind of a fun crowd on this morning. I was at the Minneapolis Convention Center last weekend, as many of you saw on my Facebook post. It was amazing. It was a lot of people and a lot of talent, I'll tell you that. All right, so now is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that the tip of my tree is at the top of our strip, and I'm going to lay this down. So now we have this colorful, these colorful little strips of paper back behind our opening. And then because of all of our dimensional, it's raised up and it gives it a great look. Now, I did this ahead of time. These are part of the Marius Trees dies as well. The dies are actually called, where do I have them? Marius Trees. And I cut one of these out of the pretty peacock. And then I cut one of the stars out of the gold foil. Okay. So this next, oops, I just I do that so many times. Threw my little take your pick tool right in my paper hamper. All right. So I want to do just a little dot I want clear glue. And I take a little dot there. And I know it looks white, but it dries clear. And I'm just going to lay my little filigreed star on top. And then if I take a scrap piece, and I just have a paper towel here, I'm just going to dab off the extra glue and let that sit for a minute. This next part is messy, 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 but I like the way it looks. So here's my finished card, and I think you can see it, but do you see like the gold splatter? Oh, thanks, Ginger. I'm glad you think it's cute. This is a non Stampin' Up product, but it is from Tailored Expressions, and it's a metallic mist. It's called Golden Sun, and it's gold. I'm going to lay this towel. You can see that it's my crafting towel. And it's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mist of this spritz on my card. I'm going to go up high so that I don't get the giant dot. I just want it to rain on my card a little bit. Okay, that is enough. I'm going to give that just a minute to dry. When you first spritz this on, it looks really orange, and then as it dries, it gets more of a golden hue. So I gave it that spritz. What are you thinking so far? Have you tried this technique? You need to look because we have lots of dyes in our set, right? And it would work beautifully with a star-shaped die. It would work beautifully with a ornament die. Um, yeah. So give it a try and see what you think. I love the little color palette in the back. You wouldn't have to have greens for the trees. You could actually use, I mean, if you wanted to, you could use bright red, bright pink, um, teal color, bright green. I'm going to put just a little dot of glue up here at the top of my tree. And now I'm going to bring in this adorable little star that we made. And I'm just going to lay that down on our, right at the top of the tree. So here we go. I'm glad you guys think it's cute. It's quick. Um, and when we're doing holiday cards, we like to probably work in multiples. I know I do. And so is what takes the time is the designing of the card. So why not make a handful of them or a dozen of them for that matter? I'm going to open up our card. I'm going to take my faded spruce and I'm going to use the sentiments from the greetings of the season. And I have the Christmas and I have the Merry. And I love when they mix these two fonts together. I'll show you here in just a second. So I'm moving the Christmas around on my stamp pad. And I'm going to stamp that right in here. So see how I have the scripted Christmas? And now I'm going to do this little printed font in Merry. So on the inside of our card, we get this Merry Christmas. Aw, thanks, guys. I'm glad you love it. All right. So what's a card without a little bling, right? I'm going to use these. They're called the gold textured adhesive back dot. And nothing better than embellishments that already have the adhesive on the back as not to be gluing everything, right? So I'm going to do a small, a medium, and one large. And that's just going to help bring out the gold that we just put on our card. Well, Janine, hello from the lake. I'm glad you're up here enjoying whatever we call it, November in the woods, right? And here's a little tree to go along with it. All right, you guys, that is my project for today. Thank you for hanging in there. Sorry that I was a few minutes late. I got a little distracted, and many of you know me, know that I'm not always the best at being right on time. I try really hard, but I'm not always successful. So I'm going to switch back up. If you're a deer hunter, good luck. I hope you get your deer. If you're a crafter and you're out crafting, doing the craft shows, good luck and happy shopping. And if you are a paper crafter, card maker like myself, what a great weekend to be indoors and making fun things. All right, you guys, until next Saturday,